Hey everybody, welcome back to the Mental Health Detox, and I'm Caroline Baker, your mental health nurse practitioner. If you've come to this channel looking for tips and resources and just information on what it takes to get out of a dark place or how you can help someone who's stuck in a dark place, then you've come to the right channel. Before we get started, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share to this channel because we are all about our mental health, and this year we are about mental health detox. So without further ado, what does it mean when someone says, I'm stuck in a dark place? Think about that. Or what do you mean when you yourself may say, I'm stuck in a dark place, I'm in a bad spot? What does that mean? Well, oftentimes when we say things like that, we are communicating that we may be struggling with a situation that may seem helpless. It may be hopeless as far as the outcome. Many times we are describing our mood. We may have a negative outlook on life. Many times we describe, sometimes we're isolated. We don't go and do things that we once enjoyed doing. We don't spend time with family and friends. Many times we describe when we're in a dark place about having physical pain that's not related to any type of injury. You just hurt all over. We describe our environment as being dark, gloomy. It just looks like it's a thunderstorm coming, but the storm never comes. It just looks kind of like outside. Never any sunlight, never any brightness, never any, visions of hope for outcomes. No light at the end of that tunnel. That's how we describe living in a dark place. And a lot of times, when people say these things, they're really describing being depressed or having an episode of depression, whether you may know that or not. And there are some tips and resources that we can do to help ourselves and help others to overcome that. And I know with COVID, a lot of us are stuck in a dark place because we're isolated, we're stuck inside. People around us are getting sick. We ourselves are getting sick. Our body's not having time to recover. We're not able to engage and do things that we once used to do. Is every time you go outside, you got to wear a mask. You're protecting yourself. It's just seemed like it's a never-ending pandemic. So I think all too well, a lot of us understand what it means to be stuck in a dark place. Being stuck in a dark place for me was maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. I had got into that routine pattern of just work, go home, work, go home, work, go home. Didn't really have much of a social life, wasn't interacting with friends as much. I had my 2 dogs that kind of kept me going and, gave me a reason to stay energetic and, keep moving because I kept telling myself I had to do it for them. I didn't have kids at the time. But, my life just became this routine of work, and it was not exciting. It wasn't fulfilling. And then, I tried dating and the relationships just didn't work out. And so I just carried this negative mindset that, I'm going to end up alone. It's probably best that I start being alone. Everything, my world was just gloomy. There was never any sunlight. When you would talk to me about different things, I always had that negative Nancy type attitude. My responses were just always negative and, never indicating that there was hope or light at the end of the tunnel or there was hope for the situation. My life just became this blah. And as far as like my energy level, I had low energy. I wasn't sleeping good. I was on the weekends when I was at home, I would sleep all day. And it's like, you would think if you sleep all day that you're getting good sleep. No, it was not restful sleep. I was basically just kind of laying there. But all these things, I was in the episode or just kind of in a state of feeling depressed. I felt sorry for myself. I felt like, I was just kind of alone in this world. And so some things that I did to overcome and to get out of this rut that I was stuck in was I had to get up, get dressed, get organized, and fake being happy. Yes, I said fake being happy. And I think faking being happy is a lot of what we're all doing right now. But when you fake being happy, at some point, you will end up being happy. Some of us are faking a little longer than others, but I had to put on this mood until I became that mood, until I felt that way. Also, I found just other ways to be involved. So I started volunteering. I started doing little educational sessions at senior centers. Started getting back connected to the community. Giving, I went through my house. I started cleaning out closets. I'm really big on being organized. And so that was perfect opportunity to declutter. I started, for me being a spiritual person, I love listening to, pastors on TV and things like that. So I started doing that, getting on YouTube, Googling different pastors, Googling different messages I need to hear and motivational speakers and stuff like that. And just getting a new fire ignited in me was very helpful in just kind of reshifting my mind, just reigniting that fire within me, just kind of, getting me back up and running and going. So all the while I'm faking happy, I'm doing things that are going to make me happy to meet each other. And now I am truly, genuinely happy, And so I think a large part of dealing with depression, dealing with living in a dark place, just dealing with being sad or gloomy or isolated, a lot of people miss is that there's work involved to overcome those things. You can't just sit it out, wait it out, and hope for the best. Shift gears just a little bit and relate this to depression. So depression is a mood disorder, if you're familiar with that, but a disorder that affects the mood, in which more days, more often than not, you are having feelings of sadness. You may have some anxiety. You may have some irritability. You may have trouble sleeping, or you may sleep too much, but either way, you're not getting restful sleep. You may struggle with substance abuse. This may be the cause of you relapsing if you were sober. You may have some physical pain, just pains and aches, headaches, things that are just unrelated to injury, or you just can't find a reason for the ache or the pain or the hurt. You may be struggling with concentration, or just having that ability to focus, the ability to make a decision, a sound decision. You may be struggling with, being confident. You may be struggling with your appetite. So you may have lost weight. You may have gained weight. Either way, there was a change in your weight that you were not anticipating. These are all signs of being depressed. Some of us struggle with depressive symptoms maybe for a couple of days, couple of weeks, couple of months, years. There are different stages of depression. And I'll go into that when I talk about major depressive disorder in a different video. So more to come on that. But just understand that there are different stages of depression, different kinds of depression. It's just not feeling sad. It's more to the depressive definition of than just feeling sad. But I wanted to talk about depression because I feel like a lot of times we experience the depressive symptoms and don't know it, or we can't identify it. Or sometimes we kind of overly use that word depression to describe, general sadness, or you got the blues, or whatever the case. So I wanted to throw out there what the actual definition is. And then I want to share with you just some tips on how to overcome and how to work through depression. First tip I have for you is get physical. And when I say get physical, I mean get up, move, do something. Get off the couch, get out the bed, get out the house, do something, get physical. Many times when we stay just kind of stuck in our own little cocoon, it really does more harm than it helps us. Okay. And this piece really does help with dealing with isolation. Because if you have to go to the gym, guess what? You're going to be surrounded by other people. You're likely to have a conversation with someone, or at least say hi if you're in an area or an environment where there are other people. Also, being physical, if you're a person that likes to exercise, moving your body, burning off that energy and those calories, and it improves your mood, it improves your mindset, it reshifts your focus, gives you an ability to focus. So get physical. If you're like me, I can't stand the gym, but I love to dance. Go to a Zumba class, or go do a yoga class. Go do something, but get physical. Do something fun. Do something creative. Step out of your box, but get off the couch. Get out the house. Go get physical. Tip number 2 I have for you is to take a break from social media. Many people don't realize just how much influence social media has on your mental health. Understand, social media is just a small window of what is in everyone's actual life. So don't take it seriously. Believe me, just use it as a means to connect. And when you feel like you're getting too much, take a break, back off. I've deleted the app one time, deactivated my page, removed it off my phone, got it out of my visual so I can forget that it's there. And set some boundaries in place with yourself. If you feel like, hey, I'm absorbing too much, it's too many opinions, it's too many people, it's too much to manage, take a break. Okay? Take a break. We are not designed to be stimulated in that fashion all the time. Social media is on all the time. Sometimes you have to turn off, so take a break. Tip number 3 that I have for you, organize yourself. When I say that is being organized and cleaning up your environment gives you opportunity to declutter, remove, eliminate, just get things out the way. When your environment is cluttered, your mind is cluttered. Your environment is a reflection of what's going on the inside. So if you can't get control of what's going on the outside, it's hard to get control of what's going on the inside. So the one thing that we can control is your environment. Tip number 4, fake the mood. When I say fake the mood, I mean fake being happy, fake being excited, fake whatever mood that you need to fake until you feel it. Fake it till you make it. And that's important. And I say that because I think a lot of us are faking the mood, but that's all we're doing. If you didn't realize, the first 3 tips I talked about were being physical, taking a break, doing something to organize. I mean, there's work involved. And I think a lot of us miss the point when we're overcoming depression is being able to do the work that's involved with it. So if I'm faking happy, but I'm doing things that are going to make me happy, eventually the two are going to meet into the middle and I am going to be truly, genuinely happy. Tip number 5 that I have for you is to get social. And when I say get social, not social media, but I mean go ahead and reconnect. Reach out to those friends that you have not talked to in a long time. Reach out to those family members that you haven't seen in a long time. Take a trip. Go see somebody. Get out in public. Go to the art museum. Go to the aquarium. Go to the library. Go somewhere. Get somewhere. Get social. Meet people. Mingle. Go to a concert. Do those things that once brought you joy and excitement. And go do them. Okay. Tip number 6. Use gratitude. And when I say gratitude, I mean find things to be grateful for each day. When you wake up, find a reason to be grateful. Whether it's being grateful for waking up, being grateful for having your good physical health, being grateful for having food on your table, being grateful for having the ability to think clearly. I mean, find a reason to be grateful. Take that and just keep building onto it, okay? I actually have a journal that I created, and I will definitely put the links down below for you all, for all the resources that I mentioned in this video, but that I created, and it's just my reflection journal. In here, I'm writing things that I am grateful for, and then I'm reflecting on daily, as I work on my mental health. But I'm finding a reason to find gratitude in each day. And when on those days where I can't find nothing, guess what I'm turning to? Because here's my previous days of gratitude. And so I'm going to reread these until I can find something new to be grateful for. Tip number 7 is find your why. What is my reason for living? When you're a single person, you have to find, why am I still alive? What am I, what is the purpose? Why am I here? Why should I keep going? You have to find your why. For me, my why is my family, my husband, my son, my pets. For a long time before I got married and had kids, my pets were my why. And I would say, my pets are what kept me going, kept me pushing, kept me surviving and thriving. And I know that's for a lot of people who may have cats, dogs, fish, birds, you name it. It's their why. But find your why and keep going. Keep your why visibly in front of you somewhere, so hey, if I can't find something to be grateful for in this day, if I can't fake the mood this day, if I can't get up and get off the couch this day, here's my why, and this is what I'm going to do. And then lastly, tip number 8 is get help. And when I say get help, I mean ask for help. A lot of times the help is there, we just don't ask for it. Sometimes it's not going to come knocking on your door asking you, are you okay? You have to ask for it. You have to demand it. And you have to get it. Okay? And I will definitely share some resources on some therapy that you could take advantage of. There's tons of apps, websites, online platforms, things that you can use and take advantage of to get help for therapy. But if you're the kind of person who desires to have therapy and there's no shame in getting therapy, I'm going to do a video on the stigma of mental health. And then I'm also going to do a video on evaluating some of these online platforms and apps so I can share with you the best resources that are available for you to help you with your mental health and managing depression. But I do want to recommend onlinetherapy.com, who's currently offering a 20% discount on your first month of therapy. If you're not able to do that, there's Talkspace. There's tons of online therapy type platforms that you can use. If you don't have insurance, they take self-pay. Or you can just pay per appointment, pay a monthly fee or subscription. There's tons of ways and avenues to take care of your mental health and, financially take care of your mental health. If you're not at the point where you want to talk to someone, which is totally okay, there is another website that I've just fallen in love with, but it's called the selfloverainbow.com, and they offer like different little journals, worksheets, little scale quizzes, things, just a whole bunch of just resources for you to do these things on your own time, maybe at home, or you could print them out and give them to someone else. You can share them with someone else. But again, I will link the description to all this stuff below. Lastly, there is the book called The 30-Day Mental Health Reset, created by yours truly. I am currently in the process of doing my 30-day mental health reset, but I definitely do recommend you do this because it has daily mental health tips that focus on, dealing with trauma, dealing with depression, dealing with accountability, dealing with things that we just really need to sit down, reflect on, and do some dirty work on how we can overcome. So I definitely will link that description to this book that you can find on Amazon.com. It's the 30-Day Mental Health Reset. Now, if you stuck with me this long in the video, I definitely do want to share some bonus tips with you. So say if you're mentally well and things are going great in your life and you're happy, awesome. But you have someone near and dear to you who may be struggling with dealing or living in a dark place or just stuck in a rut or dealing with depression. What can you do to help them? So I want to share with you 2 bonus tips that I found to be most helpful, actually 3, to be most helpful when helping someone get out of the dark place. Tip number 1 is to listen. And when I say listen, I mean listen. Listen with the intention of understanding where this person is, not with the intention of responding. Okay? Sometimes you don't have the answer, and that's fine. That person may not be looking for an answer. That person just be looking for someone to listen and understand where they're coming from. And learn to listen with empathy and not judgment. That's the big thing. Sometimes we are so quick to pass judgment on someone in their situation, and you can find yourself in a situation where you're being more harmful than you're being helpful. So learn to listen without judgment. Tip number 2 on how you can be successful with helping someone is to um, say things like, "Oh, I understand that must be hard for you. How can I help you? How can I be of some support? You are not alone. You are worthy. You are valuable. It's not your fault. I'll go with you." I mean, whatever they need to hear in order to overcome, say those things and mean it. Don't just say it because it sounds good, but say it and mean it and be their support. Be there. And tip number 3 that I have for you is to communicate with this person with genuine concern, regard, with love, just with a genuine heart. And I say that because, people can pick up when you don't mean well or you just being nosy. They can figure that out. And so it's important that, when you communicate and you reach out, that you're doing it from the goodness of your heart, the kindness of your heart, and with the intentions of being helpful, being a resource, being of some type of support. So I leave that with you to marinate on. I hope that this video was helpful. I hope that the tips were helpful. Comment below. Let me know how you all are dealing with managing COVID and your mental health. What are some tips that you want to share? We learn best from each other. But just definitely do let me know how you guys are managing and where you are mentally with you. All right. So I will see y'all on the next video. Thank you for joining me.